What's up? Yichi here, month 11. Today I'm going to tell you guys a quick story about 3 buyers that I've been working with this month. That's it. No big deal, just 3 stories.
That's it. No big deal. Just 3 stories.
The first buyer client we actually almost closed the deal with last month. As you know, if you've been watching, we were $15,000 away from getting a deal done, but ultimately neither the buyer or the seller wanted to budge, so we kept on looking. We eventually found a home in Toronto that was priced really low, a 1+1 where the den was walled off, west exposure, and it had a crazy unobstructed view. You could see into downtown Toronto, Etobicoke, North York. The view was phenomenal. So we put in a preemptive offer right away, bit of a low ball, but you never know, right? The seller might be desperate. And yeah, the seller was having an offer date maybe a week or 10 days after when we initially showed it. And the seller didn't budge on our preemptive offer. She was willing to wait on the offer date. And she was an agent as well, so she knew how to play the game. So we waited for 7 to 10 days and we put in the same offer on offer date. And in my mind, it was a bit low, but to be honest, in this market, I thought it was a very reasonable offer and we were even willing to go up a bit higher as well. It had no conditions, so yeah, it was a pretty strong offer. And then, if you're an agent, you know this, but once you show a property, if the listing agent wants, they can send you an email every time another offer is registered. So we were the first offer registered on offer date, and throughout the day, I just kept on getting emails of new offers being registered. By 5 p.m., which is when all offers were to be registered, there were 11 offers on this property. It eventually sold for $110,000 above asking. I mean, hats off to the seller. Her pricing strategy worked flawlessly. She got way more than market rate because a similar comparable with 2 baths, this one only had 1, only sold for like $645, and this one sold for $663. So hats off to her. I mean, maybe whoever bought it will feel a little bit of buyer's remorse, who knows? But that just goes to show, even in a slower market, if you price things right and do things right, offer dates will still work, will still create multiple offers, and can get you top dollar. So needless to say, we weren't willing to go up that high for that property. I think that's a bit high considering it was only 600 square feet. But congrats to the buyer and seller. And for us, we will keep looking. The second buyer I'm working with is looking for a 1+1 where the den is functional, not necessarily walled off, big enough and functional where they can rent out that den for like $1,500 and they'll live in the main room. Now, I've been helping this client for a while now. Since the summer, we've looked at 1+1s downtown, Midtown, North York. And this time in November, we did some showings with this client and he brought his parents. So that's how you know that things are getting real. After our first set of showings, they really liked one and we actually put an offer in it. But the parents were still getting their financing in order. So we had 2 conditions, a status certificate and a financing. And the listing agent told us that we actually had the higher price, but that the other offer that was put in literally like 2 hours after we registered ours didn't have that financing condition and was even a slightly lower price. So they eventually went with the other one. It will firm up or not firm up soon. So I'll keep you posted. If it does, great, congrats to them. If it doesn't, well, we have a chance to put in an offer again. And if it doesn't work out, we'll find another 1+1, no worries. And you might be thinking, why would the seller accept an offer that has a lower price? Well, put yourself in the shoes of the seller. If you had 2 offers, one was lower but only had a status certificate condition, and the other one had a status and a financing, well, which one has a higher likelihood of still backing out of the deal even after it's been sold conditional? Well, the one with 2 conditions, right? That one is more likely to back out because they have 2 reasons to back out. Their financing, they don't like for whatever reason, interest rate, principal, repayment, literally whatever reason, and the status certificate. And if they do back out, then the seller has to relist it and they might lose the other buyer that was interested. Now they've wasted a bunch of time and the market might be, even cooler by the time it relists. So that's why they ultimately chose that one. You know, as a realtor, I can only recommend. I can't make my clients take out conditions or anything like that. I do recommend it, but ultimately it's up to them. So that's how that one played out. Very interesting. I mean, there's lots of 1+1s out there coming out in the market, even though winter is coming. So we will keep looking for this client as well. The third story is for another condo buyer. This one is looking for a condo that is Airbnb-able. Now, if you have the time available to you, you can generate way more rental income per month with Airbnb than a long-term tenant. Let's say a long-term tenant will pay $2,500 a month for a 1-year loan, or sorry, 1-year lease. Well, in Airbnb, you can probably make like $250 a night. Multiply that by 30, you're looking at, you know, assuming 100% occupancy rate, which I know is hard, but you have the potential, if you do the business right, to make a lot more monthly income in your rent. So this client is looking for something that is Airbnb-able. And I basically set up an auto email for her, found the list of all properties in the GTA that have Airbnbs, and yeah, she'll be notified right away. We found one that was really good, priced really well, but we asked concierge and the listing agent, no Airbnb is allowed. So this is something you need to know if you are looking to buy or sell condos. Airbnb-able condos they're rare, I would say. And how do you know, and why why does the condo board allow or not allow Airbnbs? Well, the pros of allowing Airbnbs are, if you're an investor, it could be good for rental income, right? And the cons are, well, it ruins maybe the quality of life. Look at the ICE condos, pretty crazy stuff going on there. I actually met the guy that was shot in the elevator at the ICE condos. So that's what happens when you allow your condos to be Airbnb-able. Crazy things can happen because you have guests coming from out of town. They don't give a crap about the condo, right? So ultimately, who decides whether a condo will be permit Airbnbs or short-term rentals? It's the condo board. They'll have annual votes, and whether it's allowed or not by all the owners, they'll have a vote, and if it is, it'll be passed as a rule, and if it isn't, it'll also be passed as a rule. So it's really up to the board of each condo, and every building is different. So needless to say, hopefully we can find a Airbnb property for her, and yeah, hopefully one comes up on the market that meets her criteria. So as you can see, even though a condo is just a box in the sky, every buyer is still looking for different things and for different reasons, right? One is looking to buy and live in herself, just by herself. One is looking to buy and rent out the den. And a third one is an investment opportunity, and she's looking to Airbnb it. So you really have to cater what you're looking for and really know what your clients want. So that's it for buyers. It was a lot of work, and as I previously mentioned, big fish, right? If you help a buyer, it is a bigger commission check, but they take time and effort to close. So welcome to a commission-based income. That's how things are. And off to the side of that, and which is basically like my second job, leases. I did 4 more leases this month. They close in December, and one actually closes in 2024. So yeah, that's about like 42 leases now that I've done, which is pretty crazy, but nothing remarkable or out of the ordinary to report there. You guys know the gist. Yeah. Oh yeah, one more thing about the rental market. I have seen prices drop. The rental market is actually coming down. It's not nearly as hot as it was in the summer. I've even seen some landlords and companies, like corporations, offer cash incentives if you sign a lease. And the reason for that is most people are settled in. There's just not as much demand as there was in the summer for rentals. So yeah, rentals are definitely coming down, which is a good sign for tenants, and maybe not so much of a good sign for landlords who don't have tenants in their units. But that's the market, very cyclical, right? In regards to photography, I'll be honest, I've had the biggest creative block of my life since coming back from my trip 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I just procrastinate doing photography for whatever reason. Steven Pressfield calls this resistance. He says every pro must do the work every day, but they face resistance every day, and a pro beats that resistance. While I was traveling, I even felt the procrastination to take photos. Imagine that, being in a